The Neil Gaiman controversy has rattled the entire publishing industry. If you don't believe me, just go look around and see how few people are actually talking about what Neil Gaiman allegedly did, about these 7 victims now that have come forward about this. How many more are out there? Amanda Palmer apparently told the Tortoise podcast that there were 14 women. That's according to one of the victims. We'll see if that ends up being true. We'll see how far this goes. We know that Neil Gaiman is dead silent. We know that Neil Gaiman's hired a PR crisis firm to kind of scrub the internet and post bot stuff about his work to try to get this story disappeared. I know that there's been a stand-down order in comic book journalism in order to not talk about this. It's really, really weird. But don't worry, John Scalzi, now that things have kind of turned, because it has a little bit over the last couple weeks, John Scalzi, now that there's a little bit of clout involved, is going to take all of the clout in order to self-promote, because this is the way he reacts. And it's not going very well from him whatsoever. This is really interesting. We'll get into what this blog post says by Scalzi, if anybody even pays attention to him anymore, and what the industry reaction's been in just a moment. My name's John Delarose, everybody. I'm the most trusted name in science fiction fandom because I'm not afraid to call it like it is. I don't care about these little clout goblins like Scalzi. They have no power and no influence over me. And that's why you can trust us to tell the truth. So please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here, as so many other have. We are probably the most important influencer in science fiction fandom at this point, which is kind of crazy. It just goes to show what the truth does when you tell it, and what good writing does when you tell it. So we are having a great year for our sales, and this is a great space opera. If you're a fan of like the Old Man's War, which was Scalzi's space opera to begin with, I liked it, to be honest. You'll love The Stars Entwined. I think this is a great space opera. We have a trilogy here, and I'm writing a new series that actually spins out of this. So grab this on Amazon. Support us right here. It's available on ebook, print, and audio. The closest thing I can liken it to is Babylon 5, I'd say. So check it out. It's in the description below. Thank you guys so much for supporting our work. It means everything to us, of course. It inspires me to write a lot more. Good stuff. So Scalzi posted this the other day, and he said, here it is. Somebody said, my grandfather passed away too many years ago. I've decided to replace what would Papa do with my internal compass of what would Scalzi.com do. We all know Scalzi is a human, but my image of him in imagination is not. This image is pure and upstanding in all things. Blech. Talk about simping. Crazy stuff. So he says, I appreciate this. Please know, as the actual John Scalzi, I'm too aware of my various failings. Don't put me on a pedestal. I have terrible balance. Now, this seems like a nice, humble thing to do, right? But it's not. It's actually quite the opposite. He's trying to get you to clap for him for this. It's a sort of narcissistic, sort of like, these people are putting me on pedestals and think I'm a god. Oh, I didn't say that. They did. And they shouldn't say that, clearly. It's one of those type of things where you'll see this because of how lengthy this post is. It just goes off about how great he is in the wake of this. And he made this post as a sort of quote, commentary on Neil Gaiman. Now, let's take a step back for where this all went. 3-4 weeks before this, John Scalzi posted to his blog saying that he was not going to talk about the Neil Gaiman controversy. That's when the Tortoise podcast came out. He said, I have no comment on what's going on. This looks bad. And then closed all the comments on his blog on that. So that was supposed to be that. He was, bracing himself to just say, to play either side is what it came down to. If it looked fake, if it looked like this was going to go away, he just said he wasn't going to comment. If it looks, and he stood, now I can stand by my good friend Neil. And if it looks like it's something to gain clout off of, well, now he can make another post. And instead of actually posting about what's going on with it, instead of actually posting anything of substance whatsoever, he makes this some big clout goblin thing to try to pat himself on the back for being a good person instead. So congratulations. You didn't grape anybody, John. That's a low bar. Low bar. So, the Neil Gaiman situation's gotten pretty bad. He's had 2 employees now come out against him. There's an allegation out there that he has had people stay at his house and tells them that he takes Ambien in the night and can't be responsible. He might show up and then apparently he groped some woman, allegedly. And yikes, very bad stuff coming out all the way around. The silence from his social media has been crazy. The fact that he's canceled public speaking events, it's all points to some bad stuff. And so John Scalzi, of course, now that I've watched Blue Sky, the liberal social network, where all these nut jobs kind of go, that they're authors in the science fiction industry. They don't actually, have many other just regular users on there. They went in and the talk of Neil Gaiman changed. It started with like, oh, I don't know if I believe this. These women might be doing this for clout. And then like it became why is nobody talking about this? There's a lot of allegations out there. How come File 770 is not talking about this? How come the media is not talking about this? And then it became, the only people talking about this are JDA. Oh, hey, he's a bad person. I was bad for reporting on it and saying these actions are bad. Right? And then it became a full-on, now everybody's like throwing away their Neil Gaiman books, saying they really thought he was better. And so now the clout situations become such that Scalzi wants to get involved for his own personal gain. And so this is all it is. And this is the difference between like a journalist like we are here versus somebody like Scalzi over there. He waits to see what the temperature in the room is with the powers that be so that he can maximize it for his own personal gain. We actually look at something and we make a judgment based on what we see, based on the evidence, and we come out with it whether it's good for us or not over here, whether the mainstream will like this or not. I've been blacklisted and banned from conventions. I've been blacklisted from every publishing industry publisher out there, from comic book publishing, and it's all because I tell the truth. And that's the difference between somebody like myself and Mr. Scalzi. And I write a little bit better. There's that too. Don't forget that. I would never do something like this. So in the wake of the various recent allegations involving Neil Gaiman, people have been both very sad that someone who they looked up to as an inspiration has allegedly turned out to be something less than entirely admirable, and are now looking to see who's now left that they can rotate into the spot of the good dude. That's me. I'm a great dude with on-time books. That successful creative guy they think at least hope isn't hiding a cellar or awful actions. The one name I see brought up is mine, in ways ranging from at least we still have Scalzi to oh God, please don't let Scalzi be an effing creep too. Which, yeah, thanks. Okay, full stop here. This is clearly him trying to get people to worship him by saying, "Don't worship me." I mean, this sort of reverse psychology, persona mining, being like, "Well, Neil's gone. I should be the leader of science fiction now," is so transparent. It's so narcissistic. It's really, really funny. So he has many thoughts on this, and he's going to try to make sense of them here. And yes, it's 3,600 words. He does a 3,600 word wall of text that is just absolutely insane and just like is all just about himself. He, in fact, never mentions Neil Gaiman again over the course of this. So you'd think maybe he'd like say something about this. Do not idolize me is the third point. And then here's his whole stuff. Who wants to idolize me now? But you seem nice when I chatted with you online. Yeah, if you do worship him, he will seem nice. But if you call him out on his BS like I do here, he gets vicious real quick. The guy, but I didn't even know anything about him. I was nominated for the Dragon Award in 2018. Just wrote nasty stuff about me, all because of politics. So this guy's a total fraud across the board here. And so, oh my gosh, what would John Scalzi do? I have no effing idea. What would John Scalzi do? It's all, while I want you to like my work and enjoy the version of me you see here and elsewhere, don't put me on a pedestal. It's definitely a cry to put him on a pedestal. Now, the people in the industry saw this, and people who are left-wing, a lot of the authors who are there do actually talk to me, and they do so quietly because they'd get canceled just for associating with me at all, and they know it. And when I talk to them, I'm very, very careful. I don't betray my sources. I'm very respectful. If one of these people who are in this establishment publishing are taking that risk to talk with me, I treat them very, very respectfully because it's important. And, I understand they're taking that risk because if I, named them or they came out with anything, they'd get canceled. It'd ruin their lives. It's that simple. Much worse to talk to me than to do what Neil Gaiman did. Absolutely insane. But that's how it works. And so in the industry itself, people were just shocked with this. They thought that Scalzi just made a very, very disgusting post, a narcissistic post. They thought that he is in a spot where they lost a lot of respect for him over this because he really didn't say anything about the situation. He really didn't condemn anything. He just made it about himself, and it's tacky. This is about as tacky as it gets. And look, I'm a unabashed self-promoter. But I'm honest about it. I'm transparent, right? When we do this here, we just talk about our book, and I mention it. And you know when I'm doing it. John Scalzi is trying to manipulate people here, much in the way Neil Gaiman allegedly manipulated people based on his own stuff. Not in the sexual way, but it is a similar manipulation tactic, using his sort of rock star clout in the industry in order to prop himself up as the guy you should have as the next Neil Gaiman. The industry saw it. People hated this, and he knew it too. He knows he had a bad reaction to this because a few days later, he posted this. Hey, it's Chrissy. Again, it looks like a wholesome post here, but this is John Scalzi post to his blog. It's always tactical. Always tactical. You don't see him post this stuff like this very often. And so he did this here. I dig her a lot. I know this isn't news to most of you. It bears repeating time. He just wanted to show you, I'm a one-woman guy. I'm not like Neil. And tried to soften his little public image after this big PR blunder that was getting a lot of people angry with him. Oh, my gosh. So that's it. Scalzi's he's a piece of work, isn't he? But that's what we have in science fiction. That's who's in New York publishing at this point. All these woke weirdos have taken things over, and that's why we have to do things independently and have to do a change. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Do make sure to check out the Stars Entwined. Grab the full space opera. Grab the full trilogy. You'll be happy. I set things up very nicely, and it's in the description below. I really appreciate you guys for supporting the works and supporting science fiction, the real science fiction out there. We'll be back soon.